Hi, it's Miles Red Songbird in Manhattan, New York, at St. Francis of Assisi's Residence 3. St. Francis of Assisi was my daughter, Robin Birdsong, who lives in the UK. This is one of the founders of this residence, Father Tom. Father John and Father John also founded the residence, St. Francis. That's St. James the Greater underneath him when Father Tom was the disciple of Jesus Christ. St. Francis Record is a book about St. Francis that comes out 4 times a year. This is Chris, St. Bartholomew, Jesus Christ disciple, who is the program director here and responsible for all the wonderful programs we have. We're going to talk about the writing group. This is Maria Cott, who runs the writing group here, also does the banking. And she was Mary McLeod Bethune, an black American educator in the 50s. Okay, let's see. I wanted to show you, this is Miles Red, me, sitting in the backyard, writing and reading. I'm reading Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life. He was my husband when I was Emma Young and he was Dr. Carl Jung. Father Tom was also my husband. He's a Catholic priest. He's nobody's husband this life, but he was my husband in a previous life, and so was Chris. And they have me here. I was homeless, and they have this wonderful place here for people who have very little money. This is Carlos. He works at the counter downstairs. He's very popular. Everybody likes Carlos. I saw him this morning coming up the stairs when I was going down the stairs. And we said hello. Okay. This is April. She's a chef. I complimented her today because she cooked a wonderfully delicious vegetable lasagna with green peas and iced tea and fruit cocktail for dessert. That's what I, a lacto-vegetarian, ate today. She got a tattoo, huh? She's happily married, been with the guy 30 years. Okay, this is Orlando. He's usually in the writing group. He wasn't in the writing group today. He was laying his head on the table before writing group, so I thought he was napping, and I expected to see him in the writing group, but I did not. He was Orville Wright in a past life. Okay. All right, so let's begin. Maria gave us this poem to read, and I'll read it to you briefly. To Be of Use by Marge Piercy. The people I love the best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals, bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to say this, I love people who harness themselves. We have lots of past lives in our beings, the energy from lots of past lives. We've been over 10,000 births. And so we have to harness ourselves to function and accomplish anything. And I know I expelled 935 people out of my body. And I kept about 50. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. I said, the poem is about people who work wholeheartedly, people who are conscientious. And then I said, I was inspired to write about a time when I was of use. And Maria said, that's fine, just read it. To be of use, let's see, let me turn this over so I'm not distracted by the words on the other side. To be of use is why I like being a mother. I am mother of 4 children, all saints in former past lives. Dr. Eugene Kitch told me in 1979 that I'm the Earth's mother. John Milton, this is John Milton. He also was Homer and the Iliad writer. The Paradise Lost is a famous book by John Milton. John Milton, now known as Milton Harris, here at St. Francis, told me I am the cosmic mother. I presume he gave me a promotion to Mother of the Universe. Once when I was homeless, schlepping down a street with my belongings in the, or should I say, on the astral plane, a booming voice of a man came to my attention. He said, "You are the winner of the award of all for being the best mother in the world." That's what he said to me. As a child, I wanted to be like Jesus Christ when I grew up. I wanted to be an angel when I grew up. I wanted to be a secretary like Susan McNamara on the TV show Private Secretary. And also, mostly, I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to be the kind of mother I wished I would have had. I wanted my children's childhood to be like living in heaven, and that was the kind of mother I was. We had bedtime fairy tales, the most empathetic diet, a lacto-vegetarian diet. We ate no meat, no fish, no eggs, or anything containing their essence. I breastfed my children when they were infants and toddlers. I managed to find my 3 children, Sing, Robin, and Melanie, scholarships to private schools, horseback riding lessons in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and Central Park. My son used to shoot off handmade miniature rockets in the vacant lot near our house. They played Candyland and Monopoly board games. I took them to the circus. We took them to the circus. Their other father, Michael John Spear, and I used to take them to the circus. Okay, horseback riding, last fun times, roller skating, and ice skating, and Barbie dolls. Robin had all the Barbie dolls, the Barbie car, the Barbie pool, and Sing used to make model airplanes. We all got up early and went to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I went to all the teacher conferences. We helped with homework. We took them to plays at Radio City Music Hall, swimming lessons, carefully selected movies. They used to play in the parks all over Manhattan after school. They also had play dates. They went bicycling. They had bicycles. I had a bicycle. We all would bicycle to Satsang, which was that was our church. And it used to be in the West Village, and we'd bike over there. Robin would be on the back of my bike. Sing would be riding his bike. Sing used to go skateboarding at the South Street Seaport. They had violin lessons, and they did the Greenwich House Youth Symphony Orchestra. They did recitals with them. Robin did gymnastics, ballet. We went to Satsang, that's what I call church. Robin played volleyball. Melanie played basketball. Robin played tennis. We all went to birthday parties. We had birthday parties. Sing had his birthday parties at Stevie Wonder's townhouse in Gramercy Park. And Melanie, I remember we gave her a birthday party at the bowling alley, Bowlmore, in the West Village, and also at the some YMCA in the West Village. And we used to give and receive gifts at Christmas time. It was a big deal. Christmas, we would go to Macy's, where they have it fixed up with Santa Claus and all kinds of decoration. It's just that they have elves to help you, and you can take a picture and sit on Santa's lap and tell him what you want for Christmas. It's a wonderful experience, and it happens after the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. That's when we would go there. We had Thanksgiving dinners with friends. We could see the Rockettes at Radio City. Music Hall, their Christmas show. It's spectacular. Trips to museums, the natural history museums, for one. And with school plays, I attended their school plays. Sometimes I would film them. I remember filming Melanie in a school play once. I attended Melanie's softball games. We attended Melanie's softball games and soccer games. And I deliberately lived where my children would not be subjected to racism. So that's why we lived on the Lower East Side, and we socialized in the West Village and in the East Village, which were the places in Manhattan with eclectic kinds of population there. And they didn't experience racial discrimination until I had them in the Fresh Air Fund, which is where city kids go to the country and live with families who live in the country. Well, once Robin's people, the lady that was hosting Robin, took her to McDonald's or someplace like that in Pennsylvania where they lived, and there was something said about her being black, so I never let her go back there again. But basically, most of their friends were white, from Scandinavia, from all over, or they had a lot of biracial friends too. So they learned to accept all kinds of people and be comfortable around all kinds of people. Because I grew up in segregated small town in the South, So that was horrible. I felt inferior. And I walked past this beautiful edifice, stone. Obviously, been there 100 years. And I saw these little girls in uniforms playing. And I just knew they were getting a really good education. Okay. So when Robin went to Grace Church School, she wore a uniform. And I was very happy. I was very pleased. Lots of trips to story time and Jefferson Market Library in the West Village. They also used to show movies. I know they saw the Red Balloon there. And we would also read books there and check out books. And we would go to, on the corner was a bookstore. There were two bookstores, Barnes & Noble and B. Dalton's. And we would go there to the children's section. Robin said she never felt that we never had money for books because I would always buy her books. And she was a voracious reader. And that's why she's so smart. Okay, lots of attention paid to their feelings. We did, and that's another reason she's smart, because her intellect's not all clogged up with a lot of suppressed childhood traumas. We worked them out. It's ongoing. We're continuously working them out. But the point is her emotions and states don't fester in her brain. Feel and mind. Feelings we did talk and share daily. They still do it today. Exposure to astrology, they knew their signs, they knew about or something about what their birth date meant, astrologically speaking. I was Evangeline Adams, the gifted astrologer in the past life. My daughter, and of course my father is the star, the sun. So, the stars, the heavens mean a great deal to me. My daughter, who lives in the UK, told me on the phone a few minutes ago, this is what I said in writing class, that she calculated the best time to take a meeting with the producer who bought the screenplay she wrote using astrological interpretations. She didn't write the screenplay using astrological interpretations. She decided when to take the meeting with the producer using astrological interpretations. She said Jupiter was trying the Venus, I forget exactly what, but she knew it was a good time. After she talked about the experience relating to her producer, she rattled off all her feelings and emotions she experienced around all negotiations, which is talk and share. So, and I have been communicating with my father, the sun, the grandfather of my children. He has been giving the sun and sky I'm talking about. I know this is unusual, but it's still the truth. He has been giving me solar power to amuse all my children, including the earth children. I am the muse of the earth. Okay, so the insights, powerful insights into the way, the sun has been giving me powerful insights into the way and guiding me to find for myself the powerful insights into the way the universe works, which I pass along to anyone interested on my Mild Red Birdsong YouTube channel, including reports on this, my favorite activity here at St. Francis of Assisi's Residence 3, our writing group. Now I want to say the way the sun guides me to get insights is with pen and paper. When I'm writing, the truth comes out, and that's how that works. Okay, Milton was Milton wrote his paper about the poem, and he mentioned Mandela, and I said, "What is a Mandela, Milton?" So he tried to explain it to me. He even drew a diagram of it, and it's not physical apparently. And so what I did was, after the group meeting, I came upstairs and Googled Mandela, and it says, I'm not talking about the man, the communist. I'm talking about something else. And this is what Google said. The Native American Mandela is created in honor of a people that truly understand the deeper undercurrents. I'm trying to keep the picture on Milton. The undercurrents of thought. Okay, undercurrents. Talk and share. To pull them out from under and be able to look at your current thoughts. Okay? So it's about nature, understand nature and life. The term Mandela simply means circle. American Indians have a profound respect and understanding for the movement of spirit. What does Mandela mean? A decorative American Indian object derived from a traditional ceremonial shield. Okay, I decoded shield. SH for she, Einstein for IE, L for will, D for divine. She, Einstein, will divine. She is Einstein and her will is divine. Evangeline, Eve Evangeline Einstein, and her will is divine. All these energies are in me. Sing and Robin are part Cherokee on their father, Edwin Birdsong, an American Indian name side, and Blackfoot Indian on their mother's side, and that includes Melanie. That's their mother, Eve. Okay, and this is I have a picture of their father. That's their father here, Edwin Birdsong, on the album Supernatural, and Edwin Birdsong with Michelle Birdsong on the album What It Is. Okay. Melanie's youngest daughter, Ostara Gloria, was Chief Sitting Bull. I have a picture of them. Let me just go through here quickly and find it. Here we are. That didn't take long. This is Melanie. And this is Ostara Gloria. Her name is not Grace. She has grace upon her. She has 4 saints for children. So she, Ostara Gloria, was Chief Sitting Bull, the American Indian chief under whom the Sioux tribes united in their struggle for survival on the North American Great Plains. Following the discovery of gold in the Black Hills of South Dakota in 1874, the Sioux came into increased conflict with U.S. authorities. Okay, Ostara Gloria was a pre-colonial American Indian leader and co-founder of the Iroquois Confederacy, Hiawatha. He was a leader of the Onondaga and the Mohawks. The great peacemaker, Dagan Wilda, Eve, Mother of the Earth, born in Ontario, Canada. Adam, Michael Bublé, was also born in Canada. So Adam and Eve, at that stage, were both born in Canada. So the great peacemaker, Eve Dagan Wilder, was by tradition, along with Jigan Ha Sasi, Melanie L. Spear, and Hiawatha Osara Gloria, was by tradition, the founder of the Haudenosaunee, commonly called the Iroquois Confederacy. So what this is saying is, I, Melanie, and Ostara Gloria were the founders of the Iroquois Confederacy. Okay? And she was also, Melanie was Christopher Columbus and St. Patrick. And I was Queen Isabella and Guru Nanak. This is my son, my first son by teen pregnancy, Anthony C. Williams. Like I said in my story, I was the kind of mother that was as I wish my mother had been. And as a child, because my mother had tried to abort me, because my mother said to the nurse when she handed me to her, take her away, she's too late. She didn't want me, and since I was treated like Cinderella, did the dishes, mopped the floor, washed the blinds, dusted the furniture, I wanted to be adopted. And Lanice, my mother's friend, a school teacher, wanted to adopt me, but my mother would not allow it. So I allowed, when Tony was an infant, I didn't even hold him. I couldn't hold him. It would have been too painful. I gave him to the neighbors, Minnie Williams and her husband George Williams. They had a nice apartment, a nice car. He had a good job. He was a nice man. I thought that would be a good family for Tony. And he turned out to be a fine young man. He was St. John the Baptist and Jesus Christ Master, and he was Elijah, the prophet. And what's this? I think this is Jesus Christ baptizing people. Yeah, and they're praying. And that's Jesus Christ. He was his master. And this is Tony here. And Tony worked on a submarine when he was younger, interpreting. He was an interpreter of language, the Polish language. He was raised in Chicago, where I had wished I wanted to have been raised. That's what I said. I gave my children the life I wanted to have led. This is my son Sing Birdsong. That's me. I was homeless. And he helps us. He helps the United States. You understand that us is the United States. Sing and I wrote a song, I Believe in You, to his niece, my granddaughter, Jindara. Let's see, where is it? I got a picture of Jindara somewhere. Let's see. Where are you, Jindara? Okay, I don't have that picture, but I have a picture of Sneezy, and this picture of Abigail was drawn from Jindara's picture. So I always say Jindara's Abigail. And her first words, according to her father, was, a good girl. And Abigail, of course, is a good girl, and Sneezy is the bad rat. Okay, Sing also wrote a song called Sneezy the Greasy. You make my stomach queasy. And that's what I said, Jindara's on the cover of the Sneezy book. Singh was the perfect living master, Jesus consciousness, Jagat Singh. And he was Mozart, George Gershwin, the jazz, classical music composer, Jimi Hendrix, the greatest instrumentalist in the history of rock. And just like I said, he was Jagat Singh Ji, Jesus Christ, Sardar Bahadur. And he was a college professor when he was before he became master. When they become master, they stop their jobs and just dedicate themselves to being of service, of use, if you will, to their disciples. Why Talk and Share? This is a video on YouTube about an incident where Talk and Share was used. This is Robin Birdsong, who I said lives in the UK, and she was Dr. Seuss. She wrote the rhymes in the Sneezy book. You are you. Now, isn't that pleasant, Dr. Seuss? Isn't that wonderful? It's so simple, but so complimentary. She's kissing Seth. Seth grew up in a past life. He was the founder of the Dara. He meditated there 17 years to get rid of the demon and devils and all that were in the Dara area, and he purified it to now it's a thriving spiritual community. Designed by Salwan Singh, who is my husband, Michael John Spear. This life so far, we're going to be getting a divorce soon. This is Robin, also the co-author of Sneezy the Greasy Babysits Abigail. There's her name right there. There's my name, Michelle Birdsong. This is the illustrator's name, T.J. Robshaw. He's British. Robin was St. Francis of Assisi. She was Queen Victoria. This was her husband. He's Earl Percy. He was also Indiana Jones. He was Prince Consort Albert. Albert, Prince Consort. That's the way to say it. Queen Victoria's husband. Robin should be getting married soon. She's just about finished her studies. This is a picture of one of my books. I think my first book. How to have an exciting and fun life starting from scratch. This is Robin. This is His Royal His Royal Highness Crown Prince Guillaume of Luxembourg. And this is Mild Red Songbird Evangeline Adams Einstein, me. Okay. Is there anything I want to say? So Robin's acquainted with both of them. She's had meetings with George Percy. Okay, and that's the book. You can get it at Amazon. They have one for $20, one for $7.32. I think I'd buy the $7 one. Okay, this is Miles Red. I think I said everything. Oh, Sammy. Sammy was saying, Sammy is Confucius in another life. And he was saying that to work is justice and something like that. And I said, yeah, because when I was growing up in Tennessee, you know, my mother, the only job she could get, even though she had been valedictorian of her class before the school was dumbed down, and she was the most beautiful woman ever to live in Clarksville, according to two different men who knew her, and not intimately, but just knew her. And yet the only job she could get, because she didn't have a college degree, was working in a laundry, slamming a press every day. And she couldn't get a college degree because the college was Austin Peay State University was segregated, and they didn't accept colored people, even if you were smart and beautiful. So it isn't that way today. So Sammy's right. To get a decent job, the job that you want, is a sign of justice and freedom today. We've grown in America. And Sammy talks a lot about Jesus Christ. He's a Christian. Raphael talked about how you have to start from scratch. This is Raphael Maldonado. He was Charlton Heston in a past life. These cold dead hens, I tell him when I pass by. Isn't he good looking? He's so handsome. He wants to be trained in construction. He is a trained electrician, but he says it's important to start at grassroots, to get your hands dirty. The soldier, become a soldier before you become a general. And I thought that was a profound observation. This is Tarek, my Muslim brother. He wasn't in the writing group. He was next door watching television, but he gave me a big, loud, hello, Michelle. He's my brother. This is my mother. She said, you are the greatest mother I've ever heard about. This is on the left. This is Charlene Kelks. And she just praised me, and so I gave her a big hug. This is Little Black Sambo, Gretel Bigham. She wasn't in the writing group. This is a cookout we had. That's Father Tom holding the plates. And that's the band over there. I was amused for the band. Okay, that's it. Mild Red Songbird in New York City, coming to you from St. Francis of Assisi's Residence 3 in Chelsea. Talk to you the next time I have something I think would interest you. So long.